So if you've been following along, this should look familiar. We are back here at the Budva bus station, this time heading to Kotor. So we actually took a break from filming yesterday and took a day off just to enjoy the day without the pressure of filming. And we actually spent a couple hours in Kotor, and we are back here again, this time with a little more time to experience it and a little more daylight. So let's take a look around. Just got off the bus and already we have a number of ruins here. But the real highlight, I think, is look at all those old fortress walls leading up on the side of the mountain. Kotor and the Bay of Kotor are basically UNESCO World Heritage Sites, so this is one of those places where everywhere you turn, you're going to find something historic. Crossing a genuine drawbridge.
Yeah, neat.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's cool.
Crank it up.
Yeah, we're in.
Leave all the tourists behind us. It's funny, you step in here and you feel like you've gone right into the middle of a Dungeons and Dragons game or something. Like, your party has approached the city of Kotor. You need provisions, chainmail, a broadsword. Alright, well, we're going to start working our way towards some of those fortress walls up on the mountainside and see how high we can get. So we emerged out of the northern city gate of 1540, and over there that's an old hydroelectric plant. Now, a couple nights back, we met a British woman back in Budva and had a good conversation with her, and we happened to run into her in our little Kotor preview last night, and she was giving us a hint about a way to get up into the fortresses using a little bit of a different path than the main methods, and her advantage was she didn't have to pay for it. So she showed us the directions on Google Maps of where she went up, and we're going to attempt to replicate that as best we can. Sun isn't in a great spot, but you can get a look at the old hydroelectric plant here. We think this is our trailhead. So you can kind of see on the screen here, I'll zoom in if I can make it zoom. There you go, switchbacks all the way up. So we are still firmly in the this is a good idea phase of this hike. We'll see how it goes. I've kind of developed a small little cough, probably got something on the plane. Hopefully that doesn't hurt my lung capacity too much, but you may get to see video of me down on all fours hacking up a lung. We'll see. Just a quick overview of the town, give you an idea of how far we've climbed, and a look at the trail conditions so far. all rock, but it's not like super loose rock like scree like we sometimes hike. But look at the number of switchbacks that we have to go through to get up this mountain. It's
right there. It's so cool.
I mean, it's kind of intimidating, but then again, the switchbacks will really help spread out that elevation gain over a fairly significant distance. So that part should work in our favor. The other thing that is likely, I hope, going to work in our favor is if I pull out the GPS, like right now, we're only at an elevation of 52 meters. At home, I believe our elevation is close to 1,500 meters. So we're down here in an environment that's much more oxygen rich than the higher altitude that we live. So that, I think, is going to make a huge difference. I've noticed that when hiking some trails along the Oregon coast, that even though I may physically get tired the same as I usually do, I don't usually find myself breathing in the same way. It's much easier to hike at this elevation than high up in the Rockies. So we'll see how I feel by the time we actually get up there. So a quick update from the trail. We've reached an elevation of 118 meters. The town's getting further and further below us. And once the camera adjusts to the new exposure here, but the fortress up on top of the mountain is getting closer and closer. There we go. We've reached the posted coordinates for the Bay of Cattaro virtual cache, and just look at that view. We're about 170 meters of elevation right now. Still feeling pretty good. We've got the fortress there behind us, the bay down below us, a mountain in front of us. This is one of the most scenic caches I've done. This is pretty good stuff. Coming upon our first little building here since leaving the old hydroelectric plant down below. Cafe, etc. it says. And look, there's people. Wow. Very cool. Neat little stone house here. Beer, coffee, juice. The trail is definitely getting more rugged, but according to the map, at the top of this next switchback, we cut across and head to the fortress. And I see some more people on the trail ahead of us. So this is apparently the end of our upward climb, although this trail does continue right to the top of the mountain. We're going this way and heading back towards the fortress. So I think that's probably close to the highest elevation we will reach. So I was just reading the description of the next geocache, and basically it sounds like the pathway that we've been taking here is the ancient mule route known as the Ladder of Cattaro. And at one point this was the only route from the Bay of Cattaro further inland into what is today Montenegro.
It's breathtakingly beautiful. I mean, one direction you have a limestone or granite mountain. Then to the other side you have the bay, and one side you have the fortress. It's just one of the most spectacular places I've ever seen, truly.
Make friends with the locals. Hey there, kitty cat. Sorry, I have nothing for you. This is truly an amazing sight. And there's donkeys, I assume. They're on the side of the hill, down below the fortress. And this old church here. Wow. We've talked about exploring some old churches on the prairies. Well, they've got nothing on this one. Wow. And I don't know if you can see it there, but the ceiling in here used to be painted blue. Wow. What an amazing building. It's incredible when you build things out of stone just how long they can last compared to our wooden buildings back in Canada. Wow.
I wonder what year this is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There we go, and thanks to the hint, we were able to find the geocache. Now we're going to carry on with our hike. So from what I've read, is we now hike over to this rampart over here, and we can climb in that window, and then that puts us on the more touristy trail, where we're then free to continue to explore the fortress. And the nice thing is by coming up this back route, we've successfully avoided having to pay the fee to climb up here. So thank you to our British friend who pointed out this route to us. Now I apologize, you're probably getting a little bit of wind noise, but the battery on my lapel mic died. It didn't get a proper charge last night. And that's mainly because we only have one charging port in the entire hotel room, so we've had to be very picky and choosy with how we charge our devices. Now this should be interesting. We have seen other people who were up here make this climb, so it should be doable. And believe it or not, it's actually part of the marked trail, but it looks pretty high from here. I'm not sure how we're supposed to get up there. I guess we'll see. Yes, literally through the window. Huh. This is getting to be a real adventure now. Okay, Emily's up on the ledge here with me. Okay, so this might not be quite as high as it looks, but I'm not exactly the most agile person. See if I can hoist myself up there. Just gonna take all the breakables out of my pockets. Okay, there's a good purchase point here. It's a little wet, but here goes nothing. Oh, yeah, it's very wet. It's not bad. All right. Okay, Emily's just putting her stuff in her bag. And I'm gonna back up give her some room, and be ready to lend a hand if necessary.
Okay, I'm up.
You're up. You're up in Europe. There we go. So graceful.
Slide out here.
Well done. And now, for the first time, we finally get to look down on the old town of Cattaro, or Kotor, and see the other side of this fortress wall that we were following this whole time. Wow, what a view. Look at these narrow steps that they had to navigate when they were manning these. I always want to call them musket holes, but you know what I mean, these places for shooting from the fortresses. And wow, what a view from up here. I am so glad we chose to do this hike. This is going to definitely be one of the highlights of the trip. So we figured we might as well go all the way to the top, having come this far. I don't have a ton of battery life left, so we make the final push. This is the Castle of St. John. So from the wind-swept steps of the fortress of Cattaro, thanks for watching.